Shanti. May the infinite Lord of life, of love, and of laughter bless you at this moment. May each cell of your being and each petal of your mind be touched, be healed, and be harmonized. May vim, vigor, and vitality be yours. May love and laughter be yours. May you truly find that which you seek. And may you find that which you seek surely, swiftly, and most harmoniously. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Well, welcome to the Temple of Kriya Yoga this afternoon and to our solstice celebration. I'll be talking to you this afternoon, meditating with you this afternoon about the winter solstice, which we're approaching. After my talk, Swami Adinananda will be talking with you about astrology. She, every year, gives a short talk about the coming aspects for the year. And so this afternoon, she'll be talking about 2022. Also, just for your information, Swami Adinananda is in charge of our TPAC program, which is the Professional Astrology course. And if you're interested, you can sign up at the temple website. It's based on the professional course, which Goswami Kriyananda gave in 1979, 1980. And it was kind of restructured and reorganized a little bit, made to adapt it to the internet. And there's forums that you get together once in a while and you have class discussions talking with the Swamiji about any questions that you might have. And it prepares you if you want to start reading charts professionally. So the solstice is beginning on this coming Tuesday, December 22nd. And it marks the time astronomically when the sun reaches the bottom of its travel southwards. As you know, the Earth is in orbit around the sun, and it has a tilt to it. The Earth has a tilt to it. And because of that, we get this apparent motion of the sun moving from south to north if you observe it during the day. And it reaches its northernmost point in June, around this time, June 22nd, 23rd, 24th, that time period. in the summer it reaches the farthest north point, and then now in the winter solstice, it reaches its farthest point south. And symbolically, astrologically, and on a number of different levels, it's important to in understanding what's happening really psychologically for each person individually, but also for the world in mass. It's a point during the year where what I always say is a door opens. By a door opening means there's an opportunity which exists where the energies of your mind body complex and the energies of the sun earth connection and really the whole solar system are such that it's easier for the mind to open up and to expand and to make a meaningful connection with the universe. And there's something that's been lost in the modern age, in that for certain reasons, there's a psychology that has evolved within the mass of mankind, that we're individuals and that there's no connection that exists between one person and another. And spiritually, that's like heresy, because in yoga we teach exactly the opposite, that there is a connection that exists between me and you. There's a connection that exists between me really and the universe. There's a connection that exists between you and me, and there's a connection that exists between you and the universe. And when I say the universe, I mean the universe, everything. That includes everybody on this planet. It includes the Earth. It includes Mars and Jupiter and even the different galaxies that we have, and beyond that, into the entire universe. It's all connected together. And not only is it connected together, but it's connected together independent of time and independent of space. In other words, there can be an entity or a being or a place or a location on Alpha Centauri or Gamma Boötes or any star system that you want, within this galaxy, within another galaxy, and you literally have the ability to connect with that place, with those beings, through your consciousness and through your conscious efforts, if you want to. Not only can you connect through to them, and it's, I was saying, independent of time and space. So in other words, it's instantaneous. It's like dialing a phone, dialing Alpha Centauri 242728, and you pick up the phone and you can get in touch with them, literally. And science is coming around to that. Well, certain parts of science have always been aware of that. It's what I call outside of conventional wisdom. Conventional wisdom says, conventional science, traditional mainstream science says that You exist as an island unto yourself, and your consciousness becomes a part of you when you're born. Before you're born, there's nothing there. It's just a blob. Then you're born, and all of a sudden the consciousness appears. When you die, the consciousness dies with it. That's what conventional wisdom is, mainstream science. And as I mentioned before, it's the antithesis of what yoga is about and what most spiritual schools are about, where you have these connections with the universe. And I kind of jokingly talked about getting on the phone and calling, and though that's not quite the way it works, it's not that far off from it, because you do have an instantaneous ability to contact it. And it's not just entities or beings or whatever they might be, whether they're carbon-based like us or something else. There's an ability, if both parties are able to make the connection, to have an interaction between you and another entity. Now, we're most familiar with that because of astrology. You know what astrology says? Astrology says that your consciousness is in touch with the consciousness of Venus. Your consciousness is in touch with the consciousness of Saturn. Your consciousness is in touch with the consciousness of Mars, all the planets. Not only that, but even stars in this galaxy or other galaxies. And they influence each other. It's almost, again, it's an analogy, but it's like talking with someone. Someone says something to you, and it has an impact on you. Someone talks to me, and it has an impact on me. It either changes the way I think, or it changes the way I act when I interact with people. When you interact with people, it just happens. Well, we see it on a physical level in this case, but it's beyond that. It goes into our consciousness, is in contact with their consciousness, and when you're talking with another person, and it sort of affects you and your life and the path that your life is taking. Well, the same is true with the planets. The planets are conscious. And if you go outside of conventional wisdom, if you go outside of mainstream science, there are very well-educated, highly knowledgeable scientists, Nobel Prize winners, engineers, scientists, very respected people in fields that are outside the mainstream, and they're coming, especially over the past 10 years, around and saying, it really looks like there's something going on there, that there is a consciousness that exists or something. Now, they might use different terminology, but it's actually amazing to listen to them, because if you just make little tweaks in what they're saying, I've said before, I'll listen to some of these scientists talk, and I'll get the impression I'm listening to Kriyananda talking. I mean, it's amazing how similar their discussions are and how closely aligned they are to spirituality and that sort of thing. Again, they talk about the sun and the consciousness of the sun, and that there is this interaction. Now, they use scientific terms, and by that I mean because they'll talk about magnetic fields and things like that. Well, we talk about magnetic fields in yoga. We call it an aura. And they say, oh, yeah, that's right. It's comparable to that. It's fascinating. But anyway, the point I'm getting at is we're at a time the solstice time. And we're within a couple of days of the solstice, so it's very active now. So over the next 4 or 5 days, you have the ability, if you're a meditator, you go into your meditations, and meditations become easier and more meaningful, and you have a greater awareness and ability to get in touch with the consciousness of the universe. And open up those doorways that exist within you, and become aware of that light that exists within you, the divine light that exists within you, the divine light that exists within me, and have it affect you. And when it affects you in a positive way. It impacts your life in a very positive way. And as you do this, one of the things I would like to talk about in the meditation is the concept of gratitude, and realize that gratitude is extremely, extremely important. It's something that's missing in a lot of society today. A lot of people are not grateful. A lot of people think I'm owed something from life. And mystically, yogically, we say, no, that's backwards. You owe something to life. Life doesn't owe anything to you now. Although I'm saying that, and having said that, that's for effect. The truth is, it's a two-way street. Life doesn't owe you anything, but it gives you everything. It doesn't owe you anything, but it gives you everything. You have all opportunities and abilities that life has to offer to live a happy life, and you should do it. A little phrase that I use is happiness flows when gratitude shows. If you want to be happy, you've got to be grateful. Be grateful for what you have, and be grateful for the friends that you have. Be grateful for your family. Be grateful for the society has to offer to you. Just be grateful for what the universe has to offer to you, because it has a lot. And Kriyananda always calls it the Garden of God. He's talking about the universe, and it can make your dreams come true. And that's not an exaggeration. It's not just some flowery, meaningless hyperbole. It's true. Whatever you want, you can have. You want to be a millionaire, you can be a millionaire. You want to be a billionaire, you can be a billionaire. You want to get married, you can get married. Life will offer it there. The only issue is whether you want what life has to offer. And that's where the problem comes in for a lot of people. Life offers it to you, and it says, here's the smorgasbord that's available for you in life, of money and love and popularity, or whatever it is that you might be looking for. There it is. Just go for it, and then look at it and say, well, I don't like this, I don't like that, and I don't like that. And pretty soon, after you get through with a little I don't likes, there's nothing left, and you say, oh, God is mad at me. Look how terrible life is. Nothing to offer me. You don't know what you're talking about. Life doesn't have anything to offer me. I look around and I see the opportunities that people have, and I see the opportunities which are wasted because people say, the time's not right, the place isn't right, the setting's not right, whatever it is. There's always an excuse. There's always a reason why it's not good enough. That's ego. It's ego. That's what I talked about when I first started talking this afternoon. The ego shows up, and here we are at the holiday season. A lot of people are very happy. I go down the street and I see the houses are lit up with the Christmas decorations, and just seeing the decorations makes me feel good. That's all I have to do is see them at night. I like to go out at night because it's a little more colorful. And you see the decorations lit up, and it's nice. It makes me feel happy inside. There's some people that look at it and say, you need to stop that. Attitude. It's attitude. And you talk to that person, you can be sure the person is not grateful. They don't have any gratitude. And ingratitude produces unhappiness. The two go together. They're linked. Love and marriage and a horse and a carriage and all of that from when I was very young. Same thing with ingratitude and unhappiness. The two go together. You want to be happy, be grateful. You want to be unhappy, be ungrateful. Be ungrateful, you'll be unhappy. Be grateful and you'll be happy. Happiness flows where gratitude shows. And, we're really taught that, I think most of us, by our parents, because whenever something happens, somebody gives us something, we're given a gift or an offering or something somebody helps us with something. When you're very young, what the child's mind says is, oh, this is great. I like this. And then the parent has to say, okay, Johnny, say thank you. Why? Just say thank you. Okay, thank you. And then a few hours later or a day later, somebody else does something to help you in your life, giving to help you in some way, shape, or form, or giving help, offering something, doing something for you. And when you're a child, you walk away, and the parent, okay, Johnny, Mary, what do you say? What do you mean? What do you say? Oh, you mean I got to say thank you again? I already said it once this month. And so if the parent is training the child properly, when someone does something to help you, whatever, and it could be the smallest thing, because there's so many things in life where people just automatically help us. We don't even realize it, whether it's opening a door, we got our arms full, and all of a sudden somebody comes over and opens the door for you. We know when we're older, we say thank you, but it has to be taught. It's learned. We're not born that way, or most people aren't born that way anyway. It's the ego of the child. The child's ego needs to be taught manners. Somebody does something for you, say thank you. And then when you get older, it just should become automatic. And then think back and think back about the people at this time. Again, it's the time of year. You should be happy. I understand some people are having very difficult times. Some lives are tragic, experiencing sickness, serious health problems, deaths in the family, deaths of friendship, things of that nature. And it's tough. This is a tough statement, but gosh, that's life. If you're anything that's born is gonna die. It's just the only question is when. This body's going to die. It's just a question of when. And the people that I'm close to, that I care about. And when that happens, we say they make their transition. My job is to smile when I meet someone that says, "Oh, I'm sorry for your loss." My job is to smile and say, "Oh, thank you, I appreciate that." In other words, my job is not to burden them with my karma, with what's happening in my life. And I want to be as happy as I can. And again, I'm well aware that it's times very, very difficult, very tough to do, especially at this time. And the reason I say that is because it's amazing how many people are very unhappy now during the Christmas season. And the reason they're unhappy is because of expectations. I want to say most people, I'll say a lot of people, actually think that happiness happens to them. Very important what I just said. A lot of people think that happiness just happens to them. They say, somebody will ask you, what do you want from life? Kriyananda used to ask the question, what do you want from life? And people would answer, happiness. That's a common answer. Probably 9 people out of 10 are just going to automatically say, I want to be happy. I want happiness. The problem with that is, as they say, you can't buy happiness. There's meaning in that statement. Happiness isn't something that's given to you. It's not. If you want to be happy, you have to make the effort. Happiness is an effortful job. And not only that, but sometimes it's downright painful to be happy. I just mentioned the case. Sometimes there's some tragedy happening in your life. You have to be happy, even though inside there's a lot of pain that exists there. Again, the way I see it is, it's your job is to get past that pain and smile and say thank you as best you can. And over time, the wound heals, the pain passes. It will. It always does, and it always will. Again, it's life. That's how life works. And if you can put in the effort and spend the time, the effort, and whatever it takes to put on a happy face and to be grateful for what you have in life. One day you wake up, and what you find is that in spite of what's happening around the world, in spite of the insanity, Kriyananda always used to say that you look around the world and it's crazy. It's crazy, and it's true, it is. I agree. But one day you'll wake up, and with all the craziness and insanity that's surrounding you and in the world, you'll hear some voice saying, wow, I'm really happy. And you look around, you say, where did that come from? The voice says, I'm really happy. And you look around, and eventually it dawns on you, whoa, that voice is coming from inside me. boy, what do I have to be happy about? And your first reaction is maybe nothing. But then you think about it, and you think about your life and the good times that you had in your life and the friendships that you've had, the love relationships that you had, business relationships that you've had that have really colored your life, benefited you, helped you, whatever the case might be. And if you've gone through life with the right attitude, spent a lifetime saying, my attitude is gratitude. I'm grateful for everything that I have. I'm grateful for all the benefits that I have. You reach a point where inside the light is shining and you're aware that it's shining. The light is always shining at all times, through good times and bad, through the darkest times and through the brightest times. There's a light within you. The light of the divine nature that you are. And it exists within you, and it exists within me. And you come to the realization that, wow, I'm a pretty lucky guy, pretty lucky gal. And I'm really grateful for all the things that life has given to me. And if you can do that and maintain that attitude, maintain that thought, happiness flows when gratitude shows. And be grateful for everything you have and be grateful for the life that you've lived. The happiness filters through the clouds that exist within our mind, and it shines forth into this earth realm. And at that point, not only do you become happy, but you know what? You start making the people around you happy. The people around you become happier, and now you become a blessing to them. You realize that they are a blessing to you, and you are a blessing to them. And if you do your meditation just right, and the doors open, now's a good time. The solstice, you get the doors to open, the opportunities there, and you have a great chance to come to the realization in your meditation and in your awareness, in your consciousness, to realize, wow, I'm connected to all that life directly, not just words when it's being spoken type of connection, but literally connected with the happiness that exists within those funny little creatures out there running around called human beings, called spouses and children and co-workers and all that, all those funny names like that. You realize that you are connected with them. Your consciousness is connected with them. By connected, I mean they can influence you. And they have the ability to help you make your life better. And you have the ability to help them make their life better. And you can't do it by being, was it the Debbie Downer? I don't know if they say that anymore. I think that's from when I was pretty young. You got to be happy. You got to maintain that happiness in spite of what the feeling is inside. And I suppose you may have been suggesting that there's the pain because we all have the pain, but we all have a happiness inside of us. If someone said, I ask someone, hey, have you ever been happy in your life? If they say, no, I've never been happy, they're not being honest with themselves, or they've really shut off. I can't imagine someone going through a life, no matter how short it is, not having some periods of happiness, whether they wanted it or not. Get away from me. I don't want your happiness. But sometimes you see someone that's in a lousy mood. You can tell there's something wrong, and you can catch them. They'll have this awareness. You ever have that? Like you're driving in the car, and all of a sudden you feel something, and you turn over and you look, and somebody's looking at you, or you're looking at them. You know what? Smile. When that happens to you, it happens to everyone. It's two conscious beings coming in contact with each other, becoming aware of each other. Next time that happens, when the person looks, smile. I'll bet you dollars to donuts the person will smile back. Not because they want to smile back, it's just a reflex action. It's life. That's what life is all about. You smile with someone, you joke with someone, you tell them a stupid joke. Sometimes, stupid jokes are funny because they're stupid in a certain way. If I'm sure you know what I mean. But you joke with life, you accept life, and accept what life has to offer. Happiness flows when gratitude shows, and be grateful for the blessings and benefits that you have and that you've received. With that short meditation, I'll close off, and then I'll pass the ball to Swami Adinananda, and she'll spend a little bit of time talking about the coming year and the aspects that are coming for 2022. Shanti.